This is a chessboard, a game for masterminds, always playing 10 moves ahead, staring down their opponents and leaving them questioning their life choices.
Or it's the kind that thinks that moving a horse in an L shape is peak intelligence.
Well, that too, but not today.
In this world, victory is not measured by the strength of an individual, but by their wits. For the next 7 days, two brothers will set out on a journey to outsmart one another in the classic strategy game called chess.
This week we're not brothers, we're rivals.
So may the best mind win.
So the brothers went on their way to learn how to unlock the powers within the chessboard.
So is anyone new to the game of chess?
We had to dive into how to utilize all the pieces on the board and understand how they move. Starting with the pawn, they're simple yet pivotal pieces in controlling the game. They can only move forward one square at a time or two from their starting position. Pawns can only attack diagonally. If they come face to face with another piece, they are stopped in their tracks. Finally, if you get the pawn to the end of the board, you can upgrade it to become any piece you want.
Next, the rook is a powerful piece that can move any number of squares in a straight line, horizontally or vertically across the board. It is often the stronghold of your attack or defense as it can control long lines and dominate open spaces.
The knight is the only piece that can jump over other pieces with its unique L-shaped movement pattern, allowing the knight to move 2 squares either horizontally or vertically, and then 1 square perpendicular to that. This movement pattern can create a maximum of 8 possible landing squares for any given position, as long as the board's edges don't get in the way.
The bishop can move any number of squares along a diagonal line. This piece can utilize its long-range power to dominate the board, and by using both the bishops, you can tactically use them to immobilize enemy pieces.
Now on to the most powerful piece on the board, the queen. The queen has full control of the board, as it can move vertically, horizontally, and diagonally any amount of squares. The queen's long range and multi-directional movement can make her the centerpiece of any attack.
Last but not least, the king. This piece moves in any direction but only 1 square at a time. However, this is the most important piece on the board. The whole point of chess is to defend your king and attack the opposing king. If the king is inside of another piece, that is called a check, and you must move it to safety, or put a piece in front of it to protect it. However, if your opponent puts you into check and you can't defend it and you can't attack their piece, that is called a checkmate and you lose the game.
To start my journey, I hopped on chess.com and started playing some bots, slowly working my way through the game.
Trying to understand exactly what I was supposed to do.
In my first game, I was completely lost. I would move pieces just to move them, and I had no plan or idea of what I was doing. I was playing the easiest bot, and I couldn't get close to winning. On the other hand, the bot was playing like a grandmaster, just devouring all my pieces, not giving me a chance at all.
I continued playing with only one goal in mind.
Capture as many pieces as I could, and then I could surely win a game.
I was convinced that this was the road to victory. But it wasn't long before I realized that this was not how you play chess.
I changed my game plan. I started slowing down my game, rushing into positions less often, and trying to understand what I was doing wrong each game. I played until I finally got my first victory against this bot.
Checkmate. This wasn't skill, it was just determination. But I'll take it for day 1.
On the other hand, I started by watching a comprehensive video about chess,
teaching me how the pieces move, simple openings for both black and white, and essentially how to play the game and win.
Watching the tutorial, I felt confident that I had all the knowledge I needed to beat a beginner in chess.
Sadly, I was wrong. As soon as I hopped onto my first online match, I froze.
I played white and all I could remember is to play d4 and e4.
And after that, I had absolutely no clue what to do. And as you would expect, I lost my first game. I played again and again, and I had the same outcome. Losing quickly, unable to open the game properly with both black and white, especially black. And the worst part of all, I would give up my queen without a fight.
Winning felt impossible.
After completely embarrassing myself in day 1,
Losing time and time again, I decided to change it up and play real people in online matches instead of bots.
let's hope this is more beneficial than infuriating.
I chose to play the rapid game mode, which offers a 10-minute timer to each player. Starting off, I tried to play it slow and focus on making the right moves to win the game. But I quickly realized that I wasn't as smart as I thought. I kept on making stupid mistakes, which cost me the game.
I figured that the fastest way for me to get better is to learn some strategies.
Instead of just playing random pieces and hoping for the best. The first thing I found was trying to control the middle of the board, moving pawns, knights, and bishops towards the center of the board to have better control of the game.
I didn't do much digging into this topic.
I just took what I saw first and started playing more games.
To be fair, this somewhat worked.
If I started the game correctly, I could get close to winning, but there were games that I would lose almost instantly thanks to some pretty terrible blunders. I normally played way too defensively and rarely attacked, and every time I did, I would lose my piece the next move. I was frustrated, so I went to continue learning to see what I could do better. Despite that, I would still time my attacks incorrectly, losing pieces or even creating weak points that my opponents could exploit.
For the next couple of days, I decided to play against random opponents,
while also taking on the puzzles and lessons within chess.com.
slowly trying to build an understanding of the game.
So far, these are my biggest downfalls. I am analyzing each move way too much, making me run out of time when playing rapid.
This is preventing me from getting to an endgame and truly understanding how to checkmate my opponent. This led me to think I could win by checkmate.
So I attack the king, the game doesn't end, and I end up losing an important piece with an entire game left to play.
So I decided to challenge myself and play some blitz games,
reducing my allotted time and forcing me to make quicker decisions,
which should hopefully help me when I'm playing rapid later on. Nearing the end of day 3, I decided to focus on what chess.com
has to offer, like the tutorials, puzzles, and analysis sections, where I get to try different strategies and learn the basics of the game,
slowly pushing me to get better,
until I managed to win my first ever game by checkmate.
This struggle went on for days.
Mistake after mistake, loss after loss.
It didn't matter how close I got to winning.
Something would always go wrong. It was like I was cursed. I'd get a promising position, feel like victory was finally within my grasp, and then poof, I'd throw it all away with one dumb move. I tried to adapt. I'd start my game with the classic E4 move. Then I'd bring out my knight thinking, okay, play defensively, don't mess this up. But eventually, my patience would snap, and I'd go full chaos mode. I'd sacrifice pawns left and right, like take them, I don't need them anyways. My grand plan, somehow using my king aggressively. Yeah, my king in chess. Pro tip, don't.
No matter what strategy I tried, defensive, aggressive, or downright reckless, nothing seemed to work. So in a desperate attempt to do something, I switched game modes.
I started playing Bullet, which only gives each player 1 minute to play an entire game.
I thought maybe this could help me learn something.
Well, I was wrong. It was just chaotic. Everything happened so quickly.
After a few games, I realized these game modes weren't helping me at all.
At this point, I hit a wall. What was I doing wrong? Why couldn't I figure this game out?
With my new learning strategy in mind,
using the game review function and switching between blitz and rapid,
I have seen some improvements.
I can now play a game of rapid and not lose due to time every match. However,
I'm still struggling with my vision in the game.
I find myself having tunnel vision. I will often be so fixated on certain pieces that I miss an opportunity to make a better move, as I would end up taking a pawn instead of something better like a rook or a queen.
This doesn't only happen in attack.
I will get punished as I move my pieces in clear sight of my opponent's piece, which I often lose, and I didn't even realize my mistakes until they were gone.
Moving forward, if I want to have a chance, I need to focus less on my target and try to observe the entire board.
Analyzing which squares are being protected, which are being targeted, and what I can do to either find openings for attacks or defend my pieces if needed.
The final day of practice has arrived. And this was it, the moment to lock in.
No distractions.
No breaks, no excuses.
This was my Rocky montage, except instead of punching meat in a freezer, I was moving pieces on a 64 square board. Game after game, I dove in with an intensity I hadn't felt before. My strategies, sharper. My focus, unwavering. My nervousness, oh, it was still there, lurking like a pawn in the enemy's territory, waiting to become a queen of doubt.
But something was different. I actually felt confident. Not overly confident, mind you, but confident enough to believe that maybe, just maybe, I could pull this off.
As the games piled up, I started to see patterns of movement where I could predict the opponent's next move.
Sure, there were still blunders. I'm not going to pretend I didn't accidentally hang a queen or two.
But for the first time, I felt like I wasn't just playing chess. I was thinking chess.
Every win gave me a small boost of hope, while every loss was a reminder to stay humble. Either way, I wasn't stopping. Not today. This was my last chance to get it right before the match, and I wasn't about to let all this practice go to waste.
By the end of the day, I was exhausted, but ready.
My strategies weren't perfect, but they were mine, and I was determined to make them work.
I'm on the final day now, and I have realized that I'm not gonna be an intermediate player in only 7 days.
There are so many theories and so many strategies that I would need to learn, and it's just impossible. But there's a bright side. My opponent is human and they will make mistakes just like I do.
I just need to hope that I can make less of them and punish them for their mistakes. Or at least defend my pieces well while still creating openings to win the game. I'll be taking this to the match against my brother, and hopefully I'm not completely embarrassed.
Checkmate.